I didn't know anything about radio. Like I knew I wanted to be in radio. I had a lot
Very
of history
cool first
to it.
time
Yeah, absolutely.
experience,
Yeah,
for sure.
And I didn't know anything. I never went to college. I have a mouth on me and a deep voice, and I think I'm hilarious. So I thought, what better way to go? I'll try it.
Welcome to the Discover Montcalm podcast, where we are going to look at the communities, the businesses, the attractions, and the people that make up Montcalm County. Here is your podcast host, Cara Stevens.
Welcome back to the Discover Montcalm podcast. Cara Stevens with WGLM M1063, your local radio station. And we've got a new addition. Hi,
I'm
Dillinger.
also with WGLM
Yes, you are?
106.3. Hi, my name is Dillinger. I'm
Just Dillinger?
the new guy. I typically go by Punky Dillinger, but people are like, we'll just call you Dillinger. It's easier.
It is.
Less of a mouthful. Yeah.
Yeah. Not Mr. Punky Brewster. Just
Punky Brewster. That's one of my childhood crushes.
So we actually do kind of have a backstory. We worked together in radio
we
a
did.
long time ago.
We worked for KOQ in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is obviously not too far from here. Corporate radio, as I like to call it, the big city stuff, big-time city stuff.
You're just a number there.
Just a number there.
Just a number there.
I think both of us were. You did sales, I did on-air stuff, and it was fun. I was still pretty green to it. Quick background: I came from. I didn't know anything about radio. Like I knew I wanted to be in radio. I job shadowed Rick Beckett in high school because I was really interested.
Yeah, he was the guy.
He was the local guy. I heard his voice all the time, and my parents always had it on, and either on GRD or KOQ, wherever he was at the time, and that revolving door of radio. And I fell in love with it, and I've always had a big voice. So when I was 13, you heard this all the time, which
really?
it was hard for my mom when she got divorced. She started dating. Guys would call, and I'd answer the phone. I'd be like, "Who's this?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm looking for Deanna." I'm like, "Yeah, she's not available," and hang up. So they'd call back. She'd answer, be like, "I thought you lived alone." So yeah, that was a little fun I could have at that age.
I like
anyways,
that. That's
right?
fun.
Or when you could prank call people.
I knew I liked you for a reason.
Right. And back when you could prank call people, like look in the phone book. If people remember phone books, this audience might.
Hey,
what
are you trying to say?
I'm just saying we're adults here.
Radio guys.
We're adults here. But yeah, I could always pass for an older person. You know what I mean? Which was always made it fun for us. But no, I've had a big voice, and I was tired of people saying, "Hey, you've got a great voice for radio," and then not doing anything with it.
So you did something.
So I tried to do something. I got hired into a little mom and pop station, a lot like WGLM, just a little place tucked in the Shenandoah Valley in Harrisonburg, Virginia, and just pushing buttons on an AM station, WSVA. Amazing people. I mean, they have their own national weather station out back, and
just all of it, the real deal.
A commissioned fallout shelter from the 1920s that was built in. It was with the production office, and it was cool. It was a really cool historical. It had a lot of history to it. Yeah, absolutely.
Experience, for sure.
And I didn't know anything. I never went to college. I have a mouth on me and a deep voice, and I think I'm hilarious. So I thought, what better way to go? I'll try it. And again, I lived in Michigan at the time.
He's not.
So I'm not Grand Rapids area.
Right.
So Rockford, Sparta. So I know a lot of the local Montcalm as well. Not as well as I'd like to, but we'll get to that. So I got the experience in just pushing buttons, running coaches shows, board operating. Then they allowed me to take over a top 40 station on the FM. They needed somebody to fill in and talk. They said, "Hey, that was great." I said, "Okay,
go for it.
I'll come back and do it tomorrow."
Isn't that kind of how it all works?
Yeah, you just kind of fall into it, and I learn and adapt real quick, so it wasn't difficult. I take a lot of notes just so I can make sure I got it if I need it, or if I can pass it to somebody else who's coming in. You never know. So
gotta have it.
But yeah, and it just I don't know. I fell madly in love with it. I mean, I got to be in music. I got to be around music and just listen to music and talk to people and fascinating people, and
that's the same way I got
one
into
of my favorite things about radio is just the amount of people that you come across that have so many fascinating either stories or situations or just history, ideas. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, people are inherently, they're just amazing. And some of the things that come out of their mouth is just astounding too. So you never know what you're going to get with every one of them.
When you come to a smaller area, it's like you can talk to more people more openly, I guess.
Absolutely. The city, you get lost in the crowd.
Sure.
I mean, people would come out to events and you'd see some pretty regularly. But again, it's faces. You're going through like 1,000 or so faces a day. You're like, I don't remember you. I apologize. I just don't.
And
like people come up to you at the grocery store, like, "Hey, I saw you at the concert." Cool.
And here it seems like when we're talking to people, we can help them some way. Even if it's not just entertainment, if they're a business owner, if
information,
anything like
advertising. I mean, our job's customer service.
We're a unit.
We're customer service.
Yep.
Everybody has a customer service job. Our job is customer service. We are here to provide a service to our listeners. That is, give them music, and we give them news, weather, traffic. We give them information that they need, and then we give them advertising to try to put them through to businesses that have what they want.
Yep.
And and I haven't done radio in a while. I mean, the last place was KOQ. Before that, switch formats, and I just kind of again another face in the crowd, and I just kind of got.
Yeah, I can't remember if we left at about the same time. I think
it was roughly and then I was at KOQ prior to that, and W Light I started on. The amazing Bill Bailey, who was just the most amazing voice. I mean, he was a legend in Grand Rapids, and he gave me an opportunity to start there. This is where I started when I came home finally, and it was a good time.
It's weird when people can see something in you that you almost can't.
And that's always, it's flattering more than anything.
It's like, at least just give me the opportunity. And it's like, push a button. I mean, that's how I went through it. I went to school for music industry management.
Okay.
You would do it for free.
And a lot of people go for communications and things like that. And you can do that, and that is a great way to learn.
Well, I knew I'd go to a concert for free anytime. And that's how I ended up in radio. Last internship was radio, and I haven't gotten out.
That's how John Mellencamp got famous. You know that?
No.
He didn't want to work so hard.
Well,
so he got a job in radio.
See?
And then
and
then that was too much work. So then he became a musician. Now it's just, I'm like, that seems like even more work.
I can't play or sing. Yeah, it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
But then you got a lot of responsibility because then you have fans.
You do. It's
like
crazy.
in radio, you might have one.
You might get a couple. Local celebrity. But I don't want that. You know what I mean? The one thing that I loved about radio was being able to communicate with people. And I wanted to get back, because I haven't done it in about 15 years, to get back to that mom and pop community radio local.
Look somebody in the eye and they're actually talking.
Give a handshake to someone and be able to do interviews with people that you've heard of
and
from your
they
community,
mean it.
Friends, neighbors, whoever it is.
Now,
you know what I mean?
Speaking of the community, we know you're kind of from around the area.
Yeah.
But you and I have been driving around a little bit more, getting a little
from the
deeper
area,
in.
but I don't know the area.
So what? Like if you're coming to a new area,
sure,
just like you've never been here before at all. What would you want to see? What do you want to know about the area?
I'm big on. I love architecture. I love museums. I like history. I'm a big fan of history. And every town in Michigan has some kind of history. I mean, there's so much to find. I travel around Michigan because everything's in close proximity.
Sure.
I mean, it doesn't take long to get across the state and see something cool.
They go from hell to paradise.
Go hell to paradise in one day. I mean, that's pretty nice. I went to hell over last weekend. Just, you know what? I woke up, I'm going to drive to hell.
And
I
you met the mayor.
And I got to meet the actual mayor. And I met the devil, and I saw a church, and it was wild. But no, it's one of those things. I mean, we have such great places.
Why didn't you take video while you were out there?
I got pictures. I got a lot of pictures.
Okay, good. We'll post them.
We can put them on WGLM.
We'll post them.
For sure. But I love those. I love the little towns, and I love the stories of the people, and I love the architecture of a lot of the buildings. I mean, downtown Greenville and Lakeview and a lot of the surrounding areas have just the storefronts from olden days that are just cool. You can still see them in there, even with the modernized places that you put in there and bars and stuff. And some of those bars are still
exactly
what they look like. Yeah, and I mean, I know they're trying to beautify it and perk it up in areas,
and stay the same too, though. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, because it gives
Winter
it that.
End's got that.
Yeah, you're like, man, what a quaint small town. Like it's just got that feel of comfort
it's
and
huggy.
A little bit,
or
a little bit, and even on the outskirts, even the smaller communities in towns are just. There's beautiful farms. There's beautiful barns. There's beautiful. Just acreage of land and the trees and the foliage. I mean, there's so much to take in.
Guess what?
What?
DW Video, Discover Montcalm. They have another side gig.
Okay.
If this barn could talk.
Oh.
I can see you and
like
Dwayne going out and about.
And again, not even like the broken down barns, like a lot of the intact farms.
And what's the history of them?
What is the history of? What are you producing out here? What are you making?
How did it start?
Right. Is it? Does the community support you in what you do? Like, are you supportive to your community? You know what I mean? I want to get to know everybody in Montcalm County. So everyone's listening.
He's nosy. He wants to know.
She knows I'm not even joking. I like talking to people. I love the fact that when I get in and I started doing the morning show and taking over for Jim, that he has a lot of local interviews and community people that come in, and I'm fascinated. I got a chance to sit in with one of them, and I learned a lot that day. And I found out somebody who makes amazing things just in a workroom in his house that's just right around the corner. And he's just, I mean, he's so passionate about it, and he's talented, and not everybody knows he's there, which is just a shock to me.
We want to hear those stories.
Yeah, I want to know what do you have? What's your hobby? What are you creative about? What are you building? What are you building
what makes
for
the
your
hair stand up on your
What are you
arms?
building for your community?
Yep.
Yeah, educate us.
Yeah.
Tell us if there's something that you want. I mean, businesses, I love small businesses. They're trying to build and create something from scratch. I mean, they may not have had much, or maybe they were given a building. They said, "What are we going to do with this? Let's do this," and they just made it. And I love being able to support people like that. So that's the pleasure of being in radio, is that you can talk to them. You can connect your listener to that business. You can connect a business to another business, and we want to connect all that.
And that's what I think I am too, is like a networking.
Yeah,
I might not be able to
absolutely.
sell you advertising or do a promotion for you, but I know
you
who you can
people
talk
who
to that can benefit from each other.
And that's small town. I mean, you think everybody knows each other, but they
sure
don't. And that's shocking to me, again, that, it's like, oh, no, you don't know so-and-so?
Well, here, let me connect you guys, because
Now you
need
do.
to be working together.
It's like, hey, I met with him, and now we got this project or
I like
something.
this.
It's great. And
It's
again,
going to be a great team.
Greenville's, it's a beautiful town. And I see that they're working to beautify it, and we want to be part of it.
Lakeview doing the same.
We
All
want
of our
to.
areas are really,
And we have
Cedar
ideas
Spring, yeah,
at the
Howard
station
City.
to help bring everybody together. Like, we don't want to just go to a business. Like, come out and see us at just this business. We'll do that, and it'll be fun.
Oh, sure.
But we want other businesses to get involved. We want everybody as a community. We want to shut down the streets and celebrate Greenville
Let's all talk
as
to each
much
other.
as we can and talk.
Shut down the streets, shut down the phones.
It sounds a little cliche.
Except if you're looking at the podcast right now.
Right, unless you're trying to find Discover Montcalm. You can discover it online.
Or M1063.com.
Either way, not to plug anything weirdly, awkwardly
we'd
in the
never
middle
do
of a
that.
conversation.
Ooh.
But there's so much potential for all the seasons that we can do things. I'd like to do some boxcar racing. We'll find a nice big hill. People can build like other
It's gonna be fun.
storefronts.
Build a boat and see if it floats.
Stuff for
like
winter, stuff for
pickleball.
summer. We can go sledding. I mean, there's so many. There's fairs and 4-H events. There's
From
bull
Labor
riding.
Day, Memorial Day.
I know
It's-
Dwayne had some little
crazy.
bull riders in here, and that's
Oh.
terrifying to me. I want to see that.
Oh, it's so cool.
I'm never going to do it, but
Oh,
I want to
it's
see
so
it.
cool.
Demolition derbies. I mean, there's so many. Again, I did a lot of city
With
stuff.
motorhomes,
I want
too.
to experience all the stuff that Montcalm County has.
We're gonna
'Cause
blend them.
Montcalm County has so much to offer. I mean,
It does.
even the outlying areas outside of mainly Greenville is where we're
That's
outside,
where
where
the
the
studio is,
station
sure.
and studio is outside of. So obviously we're trying to branch out farther outside of just
Oh, yeah.
Greenville.
I
We
mean,
want to
like
be Howard City.
Sheridan, they
Sheridan.
start out their festivals. That's Memorial Day, and it just goes every
Trufant's
weekend.
got the
on-
Stump Festival.
For
I've never
sure they
been
do.
to the Stump
Oh,
Festival.
it's cool.
And I don't get why they do it.
It's a stump. You know what stumps are? They make fences.
know what-
You see,
No,
they
I
pull
know
them
what
out.
stumps are.
And you know what else they do there? They do a poop plop bingo.
Again, these are all
they
nuanced small community things, and I want to take it all in,
Oh,
and I
we're
want
coming
other
for ya.
people to come too, and I want to have a wonderful
Let us
community
know.
that
Let
we
us
can
know
build.
if you want us to come.
If you got something special, if you have, again, anybody listening,
Discover
or if you know
Montcalm
somebody
Podcast.
else, Discover Montcalm Podcast, or find us at
Station.
WGLM.
Get a hold of us.
We can get you on the show. We can.
We'll talk about you.
I'd love to talk.
He's got a
about
big
you.
mouth. I don't. I'm very
I'm
quiet.
I'm very shy.
I'm very demure.
It's really. I had to poke her a couple times. Just like, come on, you gotta give me something to work with here, Cara.
I know.
But,
sorry. I'm very difficult.
But again,
But yeah, welcome, Dillinger.
we love to talk and we love to experience things, as a team or even individually.
And we want to talk about you.
I love architecture. There's so much.
He's a comic book guy
I'm
too,
a
guys.
comic book guy. I still haven't gone to that shop.
Skateboards,
I'm coming for
BMX.
you. Yeah, and I mentioned before we were talking about some things I would like to see in the area. A lot more historical things. You know what I mean?
You want to see that county farm.
love museums. I love legends and history and tales of what's happened here, what's gone through here, what changes have been made. Either for the better or for the worse. You know what I mean?
I can see us going to all these museums.
Yeah,
Every one of
there's a trail that runs right through Greenville, and that hits
Fred Meyer, Flat River, and
Fred Meyer.
They all come together.
And speaking of Meyer, there's a beautiful Meyer building out there, and not to disparage the business that is in there. They are doing great things.
Arms of Love, yep.
They're helping
Helping
people,
people,
and they're
yep.
getting
But the
clothes.
one side
and,
is just kind of vacant.
I mean,
they
why?
had BMX stuff going in there. I think they moved.
But there's a lot of history there's a lot of the Danish history.
Oh, yeah.
And then which it seems to be embraced,
Oh, for sure.
but it seems like they can embrace it more. Or
Maybe you can. We'll
maybe
get you
I
over
can.
there.
I need to learn about it. I'm just a little
Look
Mexican
out.
Irish guy
Look
from
out, Danish
I'm
Cultural
not.
Center. He's coming for
I
you.
am.
Oh, boy.
I need to be educated, and I'm going to be wearing clogs next thing you know it, and those little Danish hats, and I'm going to put a windmill in my yard.
Can you say the Abelskua?
I don't.
Abelskivers, some people say.
Abelskivers?
Abelskua. Those little round pancake things.
Oh.
Well, don't worry. We'll get you.
Okay,
We'll get you
again,
up to speed, man.
and I
We'll
love
get you up to
food,
speed.
and I know there's a lot of restaurants.
Weird, huh?
There's bars.
DJs,
there's,
food, bands,
right,
music,
if we can take it.
entertainment.
And, yeah,
All
and there's a
right.
lot of local bands.
Come and see us again. Follow us.
Please do.
Dillinger.
Yeah.
New.
Thank you.
He's a Judas Priest too, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. We'll talk about that another time.
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube channel, Discover Montcalm Podcast, Cara Stevens, WGLM, Dillinger, WGLM.
Been a pleasure.
Local radio, supporting local business and community. See you around like a donut.
The Discover Montcalm podcast is brought to you by WGLM 106.3 FM, Be More Media, West Michigan Technology and Design Solutions, and DW Video. Connect and follow the Discover Montcalm podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Check out all our episodes at discovermontcalmpodcast.com. We look forward to featuring your business, community, nonprofit, events, and more. Contact Dwayne at 231-250-9624, 231-250-9624. Thank you for tuning in and following the Discover Montcalm podcast.